There are so many ways that men will purposely ruin a woman's career. Getting her pregnant, running a marathon. Like, I'm so glad you brought this up. Thank you for this comment. Me and a lot of my mutuals, we talk about this a lot, about how men will baby trap us into abusive relationships. They're doing it on purpose, especially if you have a moment in your career where it's about to take off, or you decide to go to school or something where you're going to be able to leave that man on your own, right? You don't need him. You're going to have the financial freedom to do so. You'll probably have the confidence. The more confident you are, the more likely you're not going to settle for BS. The more you love yourself and respect yourself and cherish yourself, the harder it is for him to get away with treating you like crap, because he knows that you will have confidence to not only leave, but that you could find somebody else better than him. So I'm telling y'all, men purposely sabotage women's careers all the time. And one of the biggest ways they do it is by baby trapping them and getting them pregnant again and again. I mean, that movie Revolutionary Road, I want to go back and watch that movie again, because back then I was like, oh, I want them to be together, you know? like it was Titanic Part 2 or something. That's such a tragic story, because what that husband did in that story is what so many men do. As soon as there is some sort of hope of the relationship changing and the woman actually getting what she's asking for, they'll do something to screw all that up so that you have to stay in your situation that you hate. And babies is one of the ways that they do it. But marathons is another way they're doing it. Because if you think about it, a marathon is like, I don't know if it's a year-long commitment, but it is a massive commitment. When a man runs a marathon, is why I talked about this in that video yesterday, and it's blowing up, and I've had to block more men in the last 24 hours than I've had to in a long time, because they hate that I'm exposing this. Whether it's, a marathon or their hobbies in general, this is literally why they hate me so much when I talk about this, because it is such a sneaky way to center themselves in the relationship, to get a woman to have to do a bunch of extra stuff, make a woman tired, right? When he's running a marathon and he's gone all the time, you're having to cook extra food for him and his stupid diet. You're having to take care of the kids more because he's never around. And when he is around, he's tired or sore. Like women who are married to marathon runners, not all marathon runners, hashtag, and I say that in a jerk way, because every time men are like, well, that's not how I run marathon. First of all, I bet it is, actually, but whatever. I know men who have run marathons not this way, which is one reason why I'm calling this out, because this is how it should be. They should still show up as parents and partners and do all the things that they're supposed to do, and the running should be on their spare time. That's not what most men do. They literally take on extra things outside the house to escape their families, because escapism is the root of most of their problems, and most of that is because they hate themselves and they won't deal with their stuff. They won't heal their trauma. They're addicted to domination and being the center of everything, right? And so to continue up with that, they will do anything to get outside the home, whether it's a marathon or doing, volunteering for search and rescue so you can be the hero of your town, or some other crap. Literally removes them from the home, so they don't have to be burdened with any of the stuff that they actually signed up to do but refuse to do. They want the social capital and all the praise and all that stuff of being a dad. They want to feel good about themselves. I'm a dad. Well, doing literally nothing. Earn that title. Literally sperm donors. Just want a legacy. Want to put their name on something. It's like pissing, but with sperm. It's all about their ego, their fear. They hate themselves so much. And that's not always their fault. A lot of them are victims of abuse, but all of them are victims of patriarchy. The very thing that they benefit from is hurting them, but they won't give up that power, baby. They'll do anything to hold on to. And if it means signing up for another freaking marathon, they're going to be gone all the time, so that their wife not only has no free time of her own, has to cheer at the end, yay! Has to run a support team. Some of these marathon runners have a full-on 4 or 5 member support team for this crazy stuff they're doing. It's not just her, it's a whole team. Guess who's managing that team? Guess who's directing that whole team? You know what I mean? All these men, all of their endeavors outside the home, at the very least, this takes them outside the home, so they're not doing the thing they need to be doing. And they're neglecting their children and their wives. They're spending so much of the family money on that crap because it makes them feel good. Some of them are also, in addition to all the things they're not doing, literally burdening their wives with all this extra labor of actually supporting the stupid marathon. Like all the labor, which is a lot, months worth, make up for what they're not doing, but also chasing them around that day, giving them support, all this stuff. It is a massive undertaking. And I can see how a woman be like, oh my God, I'm going back to school. I'm going to get my master's. And he's like, I'm running a marathon. Boom. Done. When a man who has children, especially young children, and a wife decides to run a massive marathon or cycling marathon or go on like a 2-month climbing trip or some crap, they do the same thing in just different forms. For the golf widows, they literally have a term called golf widows because it's so common for women married to golfers to literally never see them ever again. Might as well be dead. Like, how crazy is that? But when you have a husband like that, do you really think that that woman can have hobbies, or at least ones that are outside the home? And even if she does, they do not take as much time and money and commitment and energy as his. And they also are usually not super dangerous. If he gets hurt doing that stupid hobby that is so selfish, makes the whole family have to revolve around. If he gets injured, guess who's nursing him back to health? If he ever gets back to health, because some of them will get so injured they'll never walk again. Something terrible happens to them. Guess who's picking up those pieces? So now she is forever running a marathon. You know what I mean? Once the marathon's over, the injury from the marathon is still going to dominate that family and leech all of its resources, especially her labor. So I love that people like to challenge themselves, but so many men don't even ask their wives if they can run a marathon. They just decide to do it, make her accept it. Now she has to do all this extra stuff that she did not sign up for. So if you are married to a man who tells you he's going to run a marathon, you better have a hard conversation with him. You better arrange things so that he has to do all that on his free time, not his family time, not his domestic labor time. Otherwise, there literally a lot of marathons lead to divorce for a reason, as they should. I would feel so disrespected, so invisible, so not valued. And I'm telling you, the root of most men's problems in relationships with women is their selfishness and their entitlement. Men who just think they can go do something that massive without even running it by their partners, without even caring about the impact it's going to have on their family. Those men have an entitlement selfishness problem. They don't deserve to be married. They don't deserve that family. And I wish more women knew what they were getting themselves into when their husbands are like, hey, honey, I got a great idea. I'm going to run a marathon. Instead of being like, oh my God, great. It's going to be great for your mental health. Tell them to go to a therapist first. You can afford that. You can afford all this stuff that marathon is going to require of him. Most men don't want to do that. They literally run from their problems and themselves. And the whole world suffers because of it. God, if y'all would just heal your trauma and let go of power, you would not be in such a mess.